Hey everybody, back for another episode. And this short but sweet episode will cover 3 ways that you can capitalize on this summer. It's Memorial Day weekend wrapping up, and summer is upon us. I'm sure many of you have your summer calendars already rolled out and several things ready to go or thinking about things to do. But there are probably also a number of you who have some loose plans and hopes and are scratching your heads on, hey, between the big events, how do I connect with my students, with my volunteers, give them a break? What can I do to make this summer great? Well, let's cover 3 ways. The first one is to take a break from your students' break. It's summer, and I know many of you feel like, hey, that means I have to have my on switch taped on permanently and always be ready for spontaneous trips to the lake or to the movies or for ice cream or to wrap some kids' houses. By the way, do youth groups and students still wrap people's houses in toilet paper? Because I feel like that's kind of gone away. Let me know. Anyway, make sure that you are also able to take a break and recharge, because you just wrapped up a school year's worth of discipleship, programming, being intentional, showing up to football games, meeting with parents, all those things. And in about 10 weeks, maybe depending on your school schedule, more like 8 to 9 weeks, you're about to start a whole another school year again with all those things. So whether it's in between big events, having some days where you work from home, or just kind of relax and say, you know what, I'm pouring a lot of my weekly hours into prep and being at these bigger, more unconventional events that don't really happen in the school year. So my office hours are going to look a little different. Spend time in prayer, spend time in the Word, take a nap on your couch, go on vacation with your family or by yourself, go sit at a coffee shop and zone out, maybe go sit by a waterfront and listen to a podcast or some music, journal. Make sure that you are taking a break from your work and you're able to be charged up and ready to pour into your students and invest in them in the summer. Relaxing and taking a break helps you remember your identity is in Christ, your value is being loved by our Creator, and neither of those are based in your work. It's simply because of who God is and what Christ did for you. So, take a break. Second thing is to spark some creativity and motivation in your students. This is a great time for you to capitalize on the availability of your students to maybe get some things done at the church that you might not have time to do or have the capacity to do during the busy school year. And it gives them ownership of things in the ministry, the way it's structured, the way things are set up. It gives them ideas for maybe how to use spaces differently. So whether it's resetting or redesigning the youth room, being able to go and set up a gaga pit or a volleyball court, able to go look and see, hey, ask your pastors on staff or your deacons or volunteers, who are people in the church that could use some help. And every Friday or every Saturday or a different day of the week, go and pick a member of the church who could use some help and go and mow their lawn, do some yard work for them, just bless them. Help your students learn how to spontaneously be creative, to give input, to help their own ministry out and to pour back in the ministry that invests in them, and even using their availability to do some work and to do some fun things that maybe you haven't had the room to do. So those are things that you can do for them that might seem simple and subtle, but really some of those things can produce lifelong memories for those students of being seen, being involved, and being utilized for their community, with their peers, with their leaders, and ultimately investing in relationships for the gospel. And speaking of investing in relationships for the gospel, the last thing is amp up your outreach. I know students have summer jobs. They might go on vacation. They have their phone in front of them to do whatever they want. But being able to channel students' availability and creativity to be able to have a bigger draw for events. I know maybe them and their friends might have workouts for fall sports or other things they do in the summer. But do some things that are creative to draw some students and to have a great time. Maybe set up a drive-in movie in your church parking lot. Go look up the Guinness World Record for the biggest slip and slide and use your parking lot or fields or some back roads and try and break that record. Heading to where students have their summer jobs, either at a restaurant or a pool, and having other students come with you and have spontaneous hangouts there. Every time you can create a moment where your students have a time to hang out and have fun, especially with unchurched friends, is a moment where those unchurched friends and people who don't follow Jesus can experience the gospel through our words and actions. And it helps us be able to help them see Jesus in us. So make sure and take a break. Make sure and spark creativity and motivation in your students, and be able to amp up your outreach to make this an amazing summer. So do those three things, and don't forget a youth ministry staple, plenty of duct tape. Well, that does it for today's podcast episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can have a heads up about when we have new content. Also, if you ever listen to podcasts in the car or somewhere else, please follow us on your podcast player of choice. We are on every single one of them. If you haven't already, please check out our website, youthministrymaverick.com. There you can see a comprehensive list of our guests, their bio information, a list of ministries that can help you in your own ministry, some articles I've written, and a store where you can get some podcast merchandise. Also, we have a big ask. If you would go and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, not just a rating, but a review, take a screenshot of it and send it to me on social media. And in return, I will write you a thank you card and send you some podcast merchandise that you can't buy on the store. Well, that does it. We'll catch you next time. Adios.